Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Happy Earth Day!
Morning from Dublin in Ireland.
Welcome to join us at the Algorand Metaverse kickoff session. I'm Summer, the head of community scene at the Algorand Foundation. So joining me here today is my colleague.
Hi, I'm Ronan Breen. Sorry, I'm based out of Dublin, and I look after the digital marketing at the Algorand Foundation.
Yeah, so we will be co-hosting today's session. And actually, it's a great pleasure to have this chance speaking to you guys at this special day. So welcome, and please feel free to say hi in the chat box so we know you are here. So Ronan, I guess good morning to you. How's your Earth Day so far?
Yeah, it's just started summer, so excited. We're obviously very excited for today and the why we're here, which is essentially celebrating Earth Day in the Metaverse with Algorand, and this is the first Metaverse event that we've run. So a big thanks to Summer for all the hard work and effort to actually get this running, and this will be the kickoff where we will share. Very excited to share some speaking sessions from Stacey, our CEO, and some of our key partners as well around sustainability and hearing what they're doing in our ecosystem and how partnering with Algorand is moving towards a sustainable future. So very excited to share the speeches when they're pushed shortly.
And I'm really excited to have this chance, just to hold the first ever Metaverse event on Algorand. And I would say that it's because of the community support that I can make it. So actually, this question will be for our audiences. Have you all watched Algorand took over Times Square 8 hours ago? Yes or no? Just answer me in the chat box. So I was told that darkening the Times Square for 1 hour will save like 6,500 kilowatt hours of electricity. Compared to the global, energy consumption, that might not be a good, big number, but it's indeed a very impactful gesture to show our dedication to sustainability. And not to mention, this figure is equivalent to 350 million transactions on the Algorand blockchain. Big number, right? So as Algorand was built as a green blockchain with an environment impact focus from the very beginning, especially with our, pure proof of stake consensus mechanism. So Algorand is far more energy efficient than other blockchains. So we wanted to share this vision with the general public and set the bar for every other projects to follow. So I think today the voice of Algorand is well heard by the whole world. Do you agree? And I have to say it is a wonderful way to kick off the Earth Day for this year and for everyone. Well, I guess the only pity is that most of us were not able to witness this in New York. So Ronan is based in Dublin and I'm in Shanghai. So I can see that most of you are from all different places like Las Vegas and Nigeria. Yeah, so we were not able to be there. Is there any way for us to join in the same room, gather together and celebrate, even if we are not coming from the same place, even we are coming from all different places in the world and from different time zones? Yeah, Ronan, can you remind me if there's any way for us to do that?
The Metaverse, Summer, yes.
Yeah, that's great. So the Earth Day Metaverse. So we are glad to present our first ever Metaverse event dedicated to Earth Day. And the Earth Day event will consist of a one-day live celebration, as well as a month-long exhibition of ESG and NFT projects from the Algorand ecosystem. So for today's kickoff session, we will share a demo of how to access to the Metaverse, and then move to a series of speeches presented by our guest speakers from various eco-friendly projects, sharing their vision towards sustainable development. And the whole session will be lasting around 2 hours. And I highly recommend you to explore the Metaverse space while listening to the session. So yeah, in fact, Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I'll play that video in a moment. And just for everybody as well, I think Summer touched on, it's obviously quite early in the morning for us here in Dublin. It'll be even earlier for people in America. So not everybody will join this session live, but the session will go out automatically to all registrants and attendees with the recording on demand. So it'll be there for everybody to watch and share and reference in the future as well.
Yeah, and it's well to remember. So every attendee, you'll get an NFT badge as as a thank you for participation. And in fact, the moment we are talking, the Metaverse space has already been officially launched and open to public. So you can start your exploration in the Metaverse while listening to the session. So some of you may wondering, okay, how to do that? Where can I access to the Metaverse? So we have find a small demo just to show you how to do that. Ronan, can you play the demo video, please?
Yep, one moment, sorry. I'll start this now.
Hi everyone, I will walk you through several simple steps to get ready for your Earth Day Metaverse journey. The Metaverse event will be hosted on xSpaces, an Australian-based Metaverse platform. First, we'll need to download the app. Please go to xSpaces website and download the app that is compatible with your device. Alternatively, you can search xSpaces on App Store or Google Play, depending on what kind of devices you are using. xSpaces also supports 360 immersive experience with VR devices, such as Oculus or Pico. Once downloaded, please follow the instructions to install on your device. You may have to accept a third-party installation if downloading on PC. Then you can simply sign up and create an xSpace account. Please make sure your username is nice and recognizable, as it cannot be changed afterwards. Okay, now you are all set. Let's log in and get your Metaverse journey started. Okay, now, after logging, we can find a few options. Our Metaverse is hosted via the open spaces, so you can simply click and join. If you are invited to a live Q&A session, please click Join the channel on the left and enter the provided password. So now, how about taking a walk with me to the Earth Day Metaverse? Let's click on Exploring Public Spaces. There are several rooms at your choice. You can go directly to the place you like, or you can go to the middle yard and exploring all options there. We have several devoted half-body avatars for your choice. If you run into any visitors with full-body avatars, please feel free to reach out and talk to them. Highly likely they will be our guests from the Algorand ecosystem. So just mingle and talk with them in person. It's a good chance to have some engagement with the broader community. It might take some time to get used to the navigation, and the things can take a while to download if you are there for the first time. The stability of connection relies on a few things: traffic to the server, internet speed, device computing power, etc. So please make sure you have the best device for connection and stay within a place with good Wi-Fi or internet. If you are being disconnected, please close the app completely and restart. If you are using the app on your mobile phone, the incoming calls can cause disconnection, so just simply re-enter. All in all, it's super easy and fun. Also, it's worth noticing that the speeches from our guest speakers will be played in the middle yard. By the way, the experience is very authentic, so you cannot see your own avatar. If you wanna take a picture, just bring a friend with you and take pictures of each other. Okay, I won't spoil your fun of exploration by going too far, so yeah, please enjoy and have fun in the Metaverse.
Cool. Yeah, that's the demo. So hope you are all set and ready to explore yourself. And for the rest of the session, we'll be presenting the amazing speeches from our guest speakers. And in the meantime, please feel free to leave your comments and questions in the chat. Rona and I will be answering them throughout the session. Okay, so let's kick start. So first, I'd like to welcome Stacey Warden, our CEO at the Algorand Foundation, to share with us how she sees Algorand and what's our next step. And her insights of the whole industry and the vision towards sustainability. So that's welcome, Stacy.
Cool. I'll put that video up now somewhere. That metaverse looks cool. Lots of great content. Seems like quite easy to navigate.
Yeah.
So
we should all join it like after this session.
Yeah. I'll just gonna drop Stacy's speech.
Hi, everybody. Happy Earth Day from the Metaverse or from real life or from wherever you happen to be. My name is Stacy Warden, and I'm the CEO of the Algorand Foundation. And what I want to talk to you about today is the Algorand blockchain and how I think it's going to be a game changer for things like financial inclusion and why the protocol can deliver on enormous promise, but in a carbon-free and climate-friendly way. So, when I look back on my career and I think about the roles that I've had in the private sector, in the public sector, and in the nonprofit sector, I have come to believe, and I think I'm right, that one of the important engines of economic growth is that household savings can go to entrepreneurs. So the virtuous circle kind of looks like this. Household savings, instead of putting their savings in bank accounts earning negative real yields, they are directed through well-functioning capital markets to entrepreneurs that need the money. Those entrepreneurs can then grow businesses. Those businesses hire more people and pay them more wages. Those higher wages give households more savings, and so it goes. And through that process, you get economic growth. And when we all have our kind of when did we fall down the rabbit hole story, and mine is in 2013. And when I first saw the Bitcoin blockchain protocol, I thought, right, this is really going to be an important component of delivering on that promise. Because, why is it that somebody in, say, Shanghai can send somebody in Malaysia a movie by text message in 1 minute, but they can't send $1 without traveling through the U.S. correspondent banking system, clearing at the Fed, traveling back down the correspondent banking system to Malaysia, a week later, and where somebody's taken 12% off the top, right? And when I looked at blockchain ledger technology, I realized this could be a very important solution to this. And this is what really could deliver on the promise of financial inclusion. And it was too early then, and Bitcoin wasn't kind of fit for purpose, to do that. But I always had the idea in my head. And then Silvio Macaulay also, he is the founder of the Algorand blockchain. He was a Turing Award winner in computer science at MIT, tenure professor at MIT. He had invented at that time a couple of things that cryptocurrencies more broadly use, that blockchain technologies more broadly use, zero-knowledge proofs and verified random functions. So he's watching this ecosystem develop, and he says to himself, I think I could probably build a better one of those. So in 2017, he was able to raise a bunch of money. They designed this thing. He hired a world-class team of cryptographers, of engineers, a management team. They went live in 2019 with the Algorand blockchain. And what he was able to do that was different, it was an unbelievably elegant solution, particularly in terms of the consensus mechanism. It's a pure proof of stake consensus mechanism. Was able to deliver a platform that could deliver the promise of global inclusion more broadly. And so how are you possibly going to do that? Well, you have to have a blockchain that can scale, that will have low transaction fees, and that is not going to have a big environmental footprint. So Algorand famously now does 1,200 transactions per second, and by the middle of the year, we're going to be moving to 10,000 transactions per second. It settles transactions in 4.5 seconds currently. Again, this year, moving to 2.5 second final transaction settlement. So that is, no forks. The money has gone. You can rest assured in 4.5 seconds. Fees have to be very low because if you're going to have financial inclusion, those payments are going to be micro payments in many instances. And so you can't pay very expensive gas fees and deliver on that promise, right? So fees on the Algorand blockchain are sub-penny. They're 0.001 algo. So with all of this tool and machinery, we know that with Algorand, we can deliver on our North Star, which is bringing the 1.7 billion people that don't have access to finance and make them into productive citizens of the global financial economy. And that is really why we get up in the morning. And that was Silvio's initial reason for doing this in the first place. But when I came on board this year, I realized that we've got a lot of things that we need to do this year to make Algorand a big and robust ecosystem. And that is what we are laser focused on this year. So let me just talk a little bit about that as well. So when I think about a blockchain ecosystem, I think about it a little bit like, a planet. And I am kind of running the foundation in charge of Planet Algorand. And what do I need to do to make the economy of Planet Algorand as big as possible? Well, first of all, we need to teach as many people and get as many people as we possibly can speaking the language of Planet Algorand, right? And so that's getting developers to be building dApps, to getting entrepreneurs to come and build dApps, to getting the artists and the musicians and people and the developers to understand how to code in PyTeal and in Reach, kind of the language of Algorand, right? So we are going to do a number of things this year. We're going to have hackathons. I want a hackathon somewhere in the world every day of the year. We are going to have incubators and much better connectivity between entrepreneurs and coders, really make our developer resources much more robust, the training and the education around that. We've just put out, I announced in ETH Denver, a $10 million grant to build dev tools so that to make the life easier for developers developing in PyTeal. And second, we need better, we believe in a multi-chain world, right? So we need liquidity to be able to pass back and forth between the Algorand blockchain and other blockchains much more easily. And of course, that does happen with bridges. And, there's been some issues with bridges this year in a couple of different instances. We have been working, the brainiacs over at Algorand Inc. is what I mean by this when I say we. We have been building a very important solution for this, and this is called state proofs. We've called it state proofs. And that state proofs enables you to take a picture, a snapshot in time of the activity, the state of affairs on the Algorand blockchain, and that anybody can use that and understand, what that state of affairs is. Therefore, you can have a bridge which is trustless, which is only done by smart contract. So a smart contract can look at the state of affairs on blockchain, know what it is, and then be able to port and teleport that liquidity to and from ecosystem to ecosystem. We think this is the best technology out there for it. We think it's a game changer, and it is, of course, open source. We have no pride of ownership of this, and we are going to be working with other layer ones to make sure that everybody can have access to this technology should they need it, so that we can make sure that that liquidity back and forth between ecosystems goes as safely and securely as possible. Third, you may live on your other ecosystem and you like the food there and you like the vibe there and you kind of want to be there, but and you have your favorite dApps, right? But you want those to be able to execute on the Algorand ecosystem because you like the finality, the settlement finality, you like the speed, you like the lower fees. And so it's very important that applications on, say, Ethereum can execute on the Algorand blockchain. And we are also really focused on delivering that this year. And that is called EVM to AVM compatibility, Ethereum virtual machine to Algorand virtual machine compatibility. And again, at ETH Denver, I was able to announce a $10 million grant to solve EVM to AVM compatibility. So we're looking forward to bringing both of those things online this year and really building up the ecosystem on Algorand. We've got so many dApps coming now. A couple of apps that are on mainnet, so many also on testnet coming in the next couple of quarters. So we're really excited about the growth that we're going to see this year for sure. But let me circle back to the importance of making sure all of that happens on a carbon neutral chain. So right now, and it's because of this pure proof of stake consensus mechanism, we were built from the start with a carbon neutral mindset in mind, because we knew that we're the chain that can deliver the decentralization and the security and the scale. And so in order to do that, you have to build it from the beginning with the idea that you must be carbon neutral. So Silvio and his team did that. So now we use the energy usage of like 7 houses. But as we grow and as more transactions come increasingly on, that number will creep up. It might get to like 20 or 25 houses or something. And so we need to make sure that we are absolutely carbon negative at all times. So we have committed now on Earth Day that all of our transaction fees will be going towards buying carbon offsets to make sure that we are a carbon negative chain no matter what happens. And so that's our promise to you and to Mother Earth as well here on Earth Day, that we can deliver financial inclusion at scale, that we can deliver a much bigger and more vibrant and robust Algorand ecosystem, and that we can do that in a way that won't piss off Mother Earth. So thank you so much, everybody, and it's an absolute honor to be here with you. So thank you so much, everybody, and it's an absolute honor to be here with you.
Well, thank you, Stacy, for the inspiring speech. We are all geared up and ready for an amazing year of Algorand. Let's go. So next, we'd like to welcome David Garcia, CEO from Borderless Capital. If you have walked in the Metaverse, you will be able to see a massive art piece called Machine Hallucination Coral Dreams by Rafik Anodal and collected by David. So why did he purchase this art piece, and how does Borderless Capital play a role in the sustainability development of Algorand? Let's hear from David.
I'll put that up now momentarily, Summer. Just one little thing as well for people that enjoyed Stacey's speech. She's also talking today at 9 Eastern on the Reuters Momentum event around sustainability. And on that session is also Claudio from Planet Watch, who'll be on shortly, and also Sylvain from Envision Racing. So I've just dropped in the chat a link to the event if people are just interested to register or sign up for that later. And just give me one moment. I'm going to share the video, as Summer mentioned, from David.
Hey there, I am David Garcia, DG for the Algo Fund, and I am the CEO and managing partner of Borderless Capital. Borderless Capital is the first and one of the largest venture capital funds investing in the Algorand ecosystem. We are key investors and supporters of the majority of the leading Algorand Web3 apps in the space. We are also closely involved with several of our portfolio companies that focus on sustainability and also that are using blockchain for good. Some examples are Climate Trade, which is soon launching one of the largest carbon credit DAOs, or also Planet Watch, which is the fastest growing decentralized air quality monitoring network in the world. We are so impressed with the work of Planet Watch that we even launched a 10 million dedicated fund for the Planet Watch ecosystem. We are fans of Algorand. We are really honored to be part of the ecosystem and share the same values that are core to the network, promoting an environmentally friendly blockchain like never before. Today, we appreciate the opportunity to participate in the Earth Day along with you. We are super happy of exhibiting one of the best fine art NFT pieces that has been minting in Algorand. We are talking about Machine Hallucinations Coral Dream. This is a masterwork created by the renowned artist Rafik Anodal. We acquired this piece during the last Art Basel through an auction that was performed for Aoris.art, which is also another of our portfolio companies that is focusing on NFTs and fine art, digital fine art with purpose. But I don't want to take much more of your time. So thank you so much for joining us today on the Earth Day. And let's keep working together to make the planet a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said, David. And if you have been to the Metaverse, you will see that art piece is really breathtaking. You should see that after this. So yeah, we look forward to more ESG projects being identified and supported with the Planet's Fund. And as David mentioned, Planet Watch, being one of the fund recipients, is leveraging Algorand technology for the world's first distributed ledger for air quality sensors on an environmentally friendly blockchain network like Algorand. So yeah, let's welcome Claudio Perinello, CEO of Planet Watch, to share his insights of air quality monitoring and the most recent plan of Planet Watch.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. A big thank you to the Algorand Foundation for giving me this opportunity to explain what Planet Watch is all about. Now, a few words about myself. I'm Claudio Perinello. I'm the CEO of Planet Watch. I'm a former research scientist. I spent a number of years doing research in particle physics. And then I founded PlanetWatch early in 2020. So what is PlanetWatch? PlanetWatch is a French company, which is actually a spin-off of CERN, which is incidentally the largest physics research center in the world and the place where the World Wide Web was invented. So we are a technology company based in France, and we are leveraging advanced technologies and the power of communities to disrupt the world of environmental monitoring and better protect public health. So in more detail, what's the problem we're trying to solve? Let's focus on air pollution. Air pollution is a major threat to people's health worldwide and to our climate, because air pollutants are also big drivers of global warming. And it's very striking to think that 7 million people die worldwide every year for reasons related to poor air quality. And 90% of children worldwide are exposed to poor air quality. This was true even before the pandemic. Now, since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, there are even more reasons to look after air quality, because there have been a number of studies showing that COVID-19 mortality and infection rates are correlated with poor air quality, in particular for indoor air quality. Now, so air quality is very important, so we better monitor it correctly. What is the problem with air quality monitoring that we're trying to solve? It's very simple to state. There are just not enough sensors on the ground to monitor air quality. Small example for outdoor air quality. If you are in a city, you are in a square with decent ventilation and not too much traffic, air quality is probably okay. You just walk two blocks and you end up in a street with very tall buildings on both sides, lots of traffic, and you can have a very localized pollution hotspot in that place. But unless there is a sensor, an air quality sensor very close to the hotspot, you're not going to detect it and mitigate it timely. So it can be a dangerous hotspot for air quality, and you need sensors right there. So anywhere in the city with high density to timely detect and mitigate such hotspots. So the problem with air quality is essentially that you need more sensors, denser networks anywhere. That's true both outdoors and indoors, where there is just essentially no culture of indoor air quality monitoring for families and institutions. So we are taking up this big challenge, how to deploy very dense, very extensive networks of air quality sensors worldwide, both indoors and outdoors. Our unique strategy is to partner with people, with ordinary people, local residents. So give them plug and play, very simple to operate sensors, yet high performance, high quality sensors, and incentivize them to help us deploy sensors and obtain data streams. So we incentivize people to stream data from approved air quality sensors to us via utility tokens issued on the Algorand blockchain. So you stream us useful data, we give you tokens. Incidentally, the choice of Algorand as a blockchain was just a no-brainer, both because it's a high-performance blockchain, but also because it's in fact the greenest among high-performance blockchains. So it's fully in line with our approach and our objectives. So throughout this community-driven approach, we are able to quickly and cost-effectively build high-density global networks for air quality sensors. So this is really citizen science in action, deploying sensors, making cities smart on demand. That is the idea. The end goal, of course, is to generate, analyze, and also monetize hyperlocal, high-resolution, real-time air quality data worldwide to better protect public health and deliver actionable recommendations to governmental institutions in charge of protecting public health. Now, in practical terms, the key use cases are, well, for outdoors, wherever people go and breathe. So in particular, in streets from inner cities, parks, residential areas, you have to monitor air quality wherever people are. Indoors, there are some very crucial use cases where lots of people can be together at the same time. Fragile populations can be there, such as children and elderly people. So the key use cases for our system indoors are schools, hospitals, offices, well, hotels, sports centers, you name it. In fact, anywhere, all places that can get crowded by strangers and where there's a high density of people who can breathe each other's air. So we have been working since early 2020. We have already a very extensive network of tens of thousands of sensors worldwide, mostly in Europe and the US at the moment. We aim to provide extensive coverage across at least 20 large cities worldwide in 2022. At the end of last year, we received very strong support, financial support by the Borderless Capital's 10 Million Planets Fund. That would play a key role, of course, in expanding Planet Watch's network. We are strongly supported, as I say, by several institutions, including the Algorand Foundation, Algorand, CERN, and many other corporates worldwide. And of course, by a worldwide community of Planet Watchers who believe in our project and want to be part of it and help us deploy these sensor networks. We are also partnering increasingly with local authorities and organizations who recognize the need to act against air pollution in the cities, starting from getting the data, getting high quality, high density data to make decisions. We recently announced a collaboration with the mayor of Miami in the USA to deploy sensors in the city on a large scale. We were very humbled and proud that the mayor of Miami was so supportive of our project, and we're working to start that. Ultimately, we're looking to be the largest and most reliable global air quality monitoring network in the world, and eventually moving also to tackle additional use cases in environmental monitoring. Air quality is very important. There are other quantities that need to be monitored to protect public health. And of course, over time, we will move into additional use cases. Finally, since today is Earth Day, let me share what we call the Stake for the Planet initiative. It means the following: if you stake the planet's tokens in your wallet on the AlgoStake platform, you can help us plant trees in sustainable forests. So stake the tokens, plant trees, and help us mitigate climate change. Thank you very much. And as we say, keep watching the planet, help us build a better environment.
Well, thank you, Claudio. It sounds really exciting, and we hope Planet Watch can bring more positive changes to global environment. Ronan?
Yeah, and speaking of environmental protection, there's another project whose main objective is to help companies achieve their sustainability goals by offsetting carbon emissions and financing climate change projects. So without further ado, we'll introduce Francisco from Climate Trade, one of our key partners as well. So just bear with me while I drop up Francisco.
Cool.
Hello everyone, and happy Earth Day to the Algorand community. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here and to be invited for this Green Metaverse event. This is the future happening in front of our eyes. And we at Climate Trade couldn't be more excited not only to be a part of this group, but to help shape it. We are at a turning point in Earth history. From every corner of science, signals point to the same direction. If we do not act now, we are heading towards catastrophic planetary events, like extreme weather and mass extinction is something that we are facing. If we don't arrive to net zero 2050, we don't have time anymore to reverse damage, and we face 6 massive extinctions. But there is still hope. All over the world, community and investor activism has forced governments and companies to make hard decisions. The companies are putting now climate at their hearts, and they are starting to make efforts to fight climate change. In this community alone, you, Algorand, and this entire blockchain ecosystem, we are witnessing the birth of incredible movements with the potential to change the world. Incredible projects that are being defined in this great blockchain that is the less polluting blockchain in the world, and that helps everyone to tackle climate change with their projects. Today, Climate Trade can bring also to the community the possibility of offsetting carbon through tokenizing carbon credits, Together with this project, Green Climate DAO and Climate Coin that is coming soon, that will be announced next April 23rd. Over the last few decades, one of the arguments for financial institutions' lack of action around the environment has been the scarcity of data available and the difficulty in verifying and tracing impact. Well, thanks to this community and innovators worldwide, this is no longer the case. At Climate Trade, we are focusing on the digital generation and commercialization of carbon credits. Verified climate mitigation projects are listed in our marketplace, where companies that want to offset their carbon footprint can look for the projects and can offset and achieve carbon neutrality in the time that they marked. Blockchain records all transactions and we can trace the impact. Also, our marketplace allows to be connected to other digital solutions thanks to our API. And our API today allows any product or service in the world to be offset. This is a game changer. Everything in the world is going to be carbon labeled. The opacity of the carbon market made very difficult to follow and report offsetting activities. And thanks to the API and the traceability and compensation of every product and service, you will be able to have more accurate data. Well, this is very important to achieve the 2050 net zero target. Let's not forget that in 2021, the world emitted more than 36 billion tons of CO2 to the atmosphere. Even with global efforts to reduce this carbon footprint through renewable energy and other measures, electrification, there will remain a need for offsetting through carbon mitigation and carbon absorption projects. So in order to increase the supply of carbon credits, Climate Trade has now developed a digital measurement report and verification system. It is very relevant to get accurate data from the source. It is very relevant to connect all the IoT and different systems to our digital MRB, to our registries, and then go to our marketplace and be able to verify all that data instantaneously and generate the carbon credits instantaneously. In essence, what we are doing is helping project developers, those who work hard every day. They work in the ground to preserve our planet, and we help them to get financing as they need for the projects. Every day we innovate and come up with moonshots to direct economic activity towards the fight against climate change. We've been leading innovation since 2016 to ensure a thriving future for our planet and all its inhabitants. And I know we are not the only ones here aiming to generate large-scale positive impact. I'm inspired by dedication and creativity, and I observe that many projects and that many brilliant people in this community that are bringing projects to tackle climate change. We won't stop until our world and our economy have become fully aligned with the needs of our planet. Because only then we will be able to say that every day is Earth Day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing, Francisco. So if you are in the Algo family, you will know that in the Algorand ecosystem, not only the ESG-focused companies, but also the NFT projects have been contributing to building a green and sustainable path. So Algoana, I think most of you are familiar with, is an Algorand NFT project aims to drive real-world impact, and they have established a tree fund and has planted over 40,000 trees so far. So yeah, you've been wondering what's their vision behind this, and about that, let's welcome Benji, the founder of Algoana, to share his insights.
Brilliant. One moment. Sorry, Summer. Here comes Benji.
Hi, I'm Benji. I'm excited to be here today and have the opportunity to speak to you as part of the Earth Day Metaverse event. I'm the founder of the Algoana Nft Project. When we launched in September last year, we were inspired by Algorand's carbon negative approach, and we pledged to plant one tree for each NFT that we minted. Our goal was simply to change the narrative on NFTs, demonstrating that they could be good for the planet. As the project progressed, we were in the fortunate position to be able to plant significantly more trees than we initially intended. And by the start of December, we had funded the planting of 43,840 trees. These trees were planted by the organisation Carbon Neutral. We chose to work with them for a variety of reasons. Firstly, like us, they're based here in Australia. Secondly, their approach is to plant a wide range of native trees and shrubs of different species as part of the development of a biodiversity corridor. Thirdly, the trees are protected by a legal covenant. This means that they are protected by law and safeguards their future for the next 100 years. Now, if we fast forward to today, we have recently established Algorand's first dedicated environmental impact fund, the Gilbert Goanna Tree Planting Fund. Now, through various methods, including NFT sales, donations, community initiatives and project partnerships, we raise capital in the form of algos. These algos are then invested in a variety of governance and DeFi protocols where they earn a yield or a profit. Each quarter, we take the yield that's been generated plus 5% of the assets that are under management and then use this to directly fund a growing number of different tree planting projects around the globe. This innovative approach allows the fund to be truly sustainable, both in terms of the projects it supports, but also its own longevity. In just a few months, the fund has raised over 200,000 algos, and at the end of March, we completed our first quarterly distribution. This resulted in us planting over 85,000 additional trees. By expanding the number of projects we work with, we now support organisations around the globe and have been able to significantly reduce our cost of planting for each tree. We've just announced our first partnership with emerging Algorand DeFi protocol Guard. Guard is a revolutionary new stablecoin. It allows those that take part in the official Algorand governance to access liquidity from their participating tokens while continuing to earn interest on their principal. With 2.8 billion algos currently staked in governance, bringing liquidity to these tokens will have a significant impact on the broader Algorand DeFi ecosystem. Guards pledged that they will be donating 1% of fees earned during the April to June quarter directly to the Tree Fund. Another partnership initiative due to come online shortly is with xSpaces. They will be launching a dedicated merchandise store that will be operating on a non-profit basis. Revenue generated through the sale of merchandise will be donated directly to support the fund. Algorand's carbon negative approach seems to attract founders with a shared philosophy of positive social change. These latest partnerships are fantastic examples of this that will have measurable real-world impacts and underline the fact that Algorand truly is the greenest blockchain. As well as continuing to develop partnerships with other platforms, we're always looking to find innovative ways to raise funds, and we've just completed our first artist search. This program has seen us put up a bounty of 20,000 algos for the successful artist. The artist will work with myself to create a series of 1,000 unique NFTs. We'll be releasing approximately 700 of these NFTs in a public sale to raise funds. The remaining 300 NFTs will be retained and used to encourage and acknowledge high-value donations. As part of the series, we're introducing some interesting and unique utility for the NFT holders. They will get the chance to vote on which DeFi protocols the fund invests in and also vote on which tree planting projects we support around the world. It's hoped that by encouraging direct participation in the fund's activities, we can simultaneously educate the community in both the available DeFi protocols on Algorand and various environmental causes around the world. Interviews with the shortlisted candidates are taking place over the coming weeks, and we expect to launch the series in late May or early June. Our primary goal for this year is to continue to grow the fund's holdings. We aim to achieve in excess of 1 million algos in assets under management and contribute to the tree planting of over 250,000 trees. It's our hope that through this we can really have a significant real-world impact that leaves a lasting legacy and also inspires others to do the same. As a resident of Northern Rivers, New South Wales here in Australia, I've recently seen firsthand the damaging impacts of climate change. 2019 and 2020 saw widespread bushfires across the state and resulted in the largest burnt area recorded in a single fire season in eastern Australia. Just this past month, we've seen significant catastrophic flooding that has been unprecedented in the region's history. These floods have damaged thousands of properties and left many families displaced and with nowhere to live. There is little doubt that what we're experiencing today are the consequences of global warming and climate change. Each of us must take whatever action we can and bring about positive environmental change to protect the environment for future generations. When I launched the Algoana NFT series, I had no idea of the impact that we would go on to have. And I'd say to you to not underestimate the change that you too can bring. If you'd like any more information about the work we are doing, you can find us online at algoana.com and also algoana001.com. We're active on Twitter and we're more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Oh, a big thank you to Benji. Got to say that was a really, really good and thorough overview. So love that Algoana NFTs and especially the vision behind Benji's project as well. It's very much worth mentioning, and I think someone touched on earlier, that the Algoana will be exhibiting at the Earth Day Metaverse as well. So go to the Metaverse and you can check out some of the NFTs they're exhibiting, along with other projects such as Tiger Chi, Crazy Goose Flock, Algo the Owl, and others. So they have also an Earth Day special edition designed NFT. So check it out and don't miss it. I'm going to welcome actually our next speaker, which is Hardeep Anand, CEO of APAS. We actually announced a grant yesterday, the day before Earth Day, because obviously they were a speaker at today's session. So our most recent grantee, and a big welcome as our most recent project joining our ecosystem. They have a bold vision to preserve and protect our planet's watersheds by digitizing water on Algorand, the green blockchain. So in terms of how does that work, I'll actually pass you over to the expert, Hardeep. So just bear with me for one moment and I'll share Hardeep's overview.
Greetings from the Green Metaverse and happy Earth Day to everyone around the globe and the Algorand community joining us. I'm so excited in participating in my first Metaverse event today and to share our vision to digitize water on the Algorand blockchain. I also would like to extend my gratitude to the Algorand Foundation for the invitation. We drew our inspiration to represent water, the most scarce and precious resource on planet Earth, from one of the oldest ancient language known as Sanskrit. Apis in Sanskrit means water. So speaking of water, the United Nations estimates that by the year 2030, a lack of access to water could displace up to 700 million people. It'll be a global refugee crisis like any other the world has ever seen. In 2015, the World Economic Forum named the water crisis, water shortages, and lack of access to clean water as the biggest threat of the next decade. Now, on a more granular level, according to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people, which is about 2 billion people, lack safe drinking water, and almost half of the global population, which is about 3.6 billion people, lack safe sanitation. So every day, over 700 children under the age of 5 die from diarrhea linked to unsafe water, sanitation, and poor hygiene. These are really staggering numbers. So it all starts with protecting the water quality of water-related ecosystems. Water quality data is not collected routinely or even analyzed in a majority of countries. Unfortunately, this means that over 3 billion people are at risk because the health of their freshwater ecosystems, unfortunately, is an unknown. Now, while we are talking about AI and big data, IoT, virtual and augmented reality, blockchain, Web 3.0, and the list goes on, and this metaverse, where we are all co-participating today, we really cannot be in a diametrically opposite situation to deal with this terrible water crisis. Friends, the sad trend must change, and therefore we need to have a bold vision and a paradigm shift to address this crisis. So with that background, I am very pleased to share today that we intend to bring that new dimension to the relationship we have with water, a relation where we all get to participate and play as citizens. We will be making strides by digitizing the water quality of the watershed on the Algorand blockchain, as well as addressing water-related financing and equity, education, governance, and most importantly, global citizen engagement to foster community science. Our vision is one of water equity and inclusivity. We are also excited to come on board with Algorand alongside my dear friend Francisco Benedito, who leads up the work at Climate Trade. I bring up climate trade because climate change is going to be felt through the lens of water. We are being confronted by several shocks and stresses like sea level rise and droughts and hurricanes, waterborne diseases, and the threat of emerging contaminants like microplastics and PFAS in water. Like the climate crisis, the water crisis is not something that awaits us in the future. It's a crisis that billions of people are experiencing today. So on this Earth Day, I also would like to extend our sincere gratitude to every water professional across the globe who tirelessly works in treating and protecting and conserving this precious resource. Let us all work towards a common goal that no girl child is denied a school education because of lack of hygiene and sanitation facilities. No mother has to walk miles to fetch water to raise a family, and no child is lost due to severe waterborne disease. Water is a global resource. It has no boundaries. It is our water, it's your water. I like to call it one water. Water should not become the weakest link in the resiliency chain. Therefore, let us all treat it as one. Let's preserve it and protect it. Join us in this movement to help everyone innovate and make our communities resilient by thinking globally but acting at a local scale, because when communities are strengthened, our economies will thrive. The steps we take as a global community today will not only just help us, but it will help our families, our children, to be prepared for a future full of safe and clean water. So stay tuned to our work. Visit us on our website at appas.ai, which is apas.ai. Thank you.
apas.ai. Thank you.
Cool, great speech, Hardeep. Again, welcome to join the Algorand ecosystem at this special day, and we expect a sustainable journey ahead together with APAS. So next, I'm going to welcome Drew Cousin, co-founder of Blockbeam. Blockbeam is building an education and talent matching platform to support startups in their next stage of growth. They have been active in the Algorand community, and I'm wondering what's the next they are going to do to bring into Algorand. So let's welcome Drew to share his plans.
Hello and happy Earth Day, everyone. My name is Drew Cousin, and I'm one of the co-founders of Blockbeam. Blockbeam was founded to create an international community with the mission of accelerating impactful technologies and launching standout talent into Web3. The Algorand blockchain certainly fits the category of an impactful technology with the chance to break down barriers in global finance and bring new efficiencies to a vast range of industries. For this reason, we've been thrilled to have the opportunity to partner with the Algorand Foundation to develop the Gateway to Algorand. High level, the Gateway to Algorand is an undergraduate and graduate student targeted 4-week program that teaches participants about climate positive blockchain applications and supporting business models. The program is also open to individuals who have taken less conventional education paths. For Program 1 in March, we graduated 32 students from 18 universities, ranging from China, Europe, Canada, and universities across the US. The second program launches April 26th and will bring 40 new students into our ecosystem. The second program will be completely operated by graduates of the first program. Participants' academic focus has been super diverse for both programs, ranging from finance to environmental science to computer science. We are able to provide a valuable experience for all of these backgrounds due to our unique value-first approach to teaching blockchain applications. The core mission for the Gateway to Algorand is to accelerate the adoption of Algorand sustainability startups and launch talent with an in-depth knowledge of how to leverage blockchain to solve problems in the climate space, as well as how to drive revenue with these models effectively. To achieve this, we've developed a curriculum and supporting resources to tell the story of innovative founders and their teams successfully leveraging the Algorand blockchain to solve real-world problems and make a positive climate impact. We believe that with the Gateway to Algorand, we are building a launchpad that amplifies this message and will lead to a whole new wave of entrepreneurs utilizing blockchain technology to catalyze positive developments in the world. In addition to promoting climate-positive Algorand applications and launching new startups long-term, what we are building is a talent platform that will help solve hiring challenges for startups by giving efficient access and visibility to talent in the Blockbeam community. Talent is the engine that drives ideas forward, and this platform will be critical for helping startups drive maximum impact. In terms of how the Algorand ecosystem can get involved, amplifying our programs is critical. If you know individuals passionate about sustainability and technology, we would love to have them in our community to learn what's possible with blockchain. Additionally, if you are working on a climate-focused startup, we would love to discuss collaboration opportunities. We aim to constantly improve the developed curriculum and provide students visibility to as many stories as possible, so keeping a feedback loop on innovations and new companies is critical. The second Gateway to Algorand will kick off next week. We would love to see people at the final pitch night on May 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Applications for the third program will also open soon. To supplement our programs, we've also created an NFT collection called Belemers. Each NFT serves as a membership card for accessing our entrepreneurs network and Blockbeam special events. We have kicked off these NFT holder-only events with a chat on the future of embedded lending with Warren Brown, COO of soon-to-be unicorn Civo, and have another chat on ethical AI with Denise Johnson, COO of Stratify, next week. The purpose of these and other Blockbeam events is to create deeper connections within our community and to help support entrepreneurs and push talent forward. Thank you and have a great rest of Earth Day.
Ronan, you are on mute.
Thank you, Summer. Apologies. No, just a big thanks to Drew for providing that overview. Great to see how global and focused that program is. The next speaker I'm going to present is actually from Wild Immersion, and they're the world's first sort of virtual reserve endorsed by Jane Goodall. Their mission is to raise public awareness about nature conversation challenges, which sounds pretty amazing. Apologies for my pronunciation, but let's welcome Gregory Mosson. He's the CEO of Wild Immersion for a journey into the wild. So bear with me for one moment as I get Gregory's video up. And apologies, as I said, on the pronunciation by accident.
Hello, I'm Greg. I'm the CEO of Wild Immersion. It's a real honor to be part of this event, especially to celebrate the Earth Day. I'm glad to share this moment with you. And if you bear with me, I'm going to tell you a story. It all started in 2017. Adrian, my brother, a former veterinarian, is basically reading the news and is struck by an article about the Thick's massive extinction. Wildlife is disappearing at an unprecedented pace, and he wants to do something about that. He takes one of his friends, Raphael, and they go all over the world to film animals in 360 in their natural habitat. They have no idea what they are going to take out of this adventure, but one thing is sure: Wild Immersion is born. Finally, the idea turns to be simple. We put our movies into VR headsets and we raise awareness about wildlife and its emergency situation. We connect our audience to nature using virtual reality and the beauty of it. And then we educate them about the stakes of biodiversity. We teleport entire families into the heart of the wild. This project forgets great support. As an example, Jane Goodall, Dr. Jane Goodall, the world-famous Chimps lady, falls in love with our movies, and she decides to endorse us. And soon enough, what was first a project becomes a company in 2018. And starting from zero, we get to introduce the virtual reserve to over 200,000 people in 2019. Beginning of 2020, we have 7 locations operated in 4 countries. We have more than 10 more to come, and we are running full speed and have great perspectives. We all know what happened in 2020. We were all impacted, but we did not react all the same way. On our side, we decided to hear the message of Mother Nature, loud and strong. We needed more education at a larger scale. We needed to hear this voice saying to us, "You are not alone on this planet. You need to take care of your roommates now." We heard that in our soul and in our heart, and we decided to shift our business model. Stormed in the head, big open discussions. What is the way we have to evolve? What can we do in this world going crazy? More questions. Where is it going to end? When are we going to be free to act again? Is it the end of the adventure? Finally, 3 words came out of this chaos: educate, connect, and protect. Educate about wildlife, connect back human to nature, protect the wildlife to save biodiversity. And since 2020, we created web apps, mobile apps, little games, ideas on animals, even makeup tutorials. We created whatever is needed to raise awareness about wildlife. Our idea is very simple. We are willing to help anyone wanting to educate about wild animals and protect nature. We now aim to be the first one provider of digital content on wildlife. And this tremendous work we've done is bearing fruits. Now we have more than 15 locations open in 10 countries, and we are hoping to have more than 200,000 people seeing or being educated by wild immersion in 2022. All these locations, all these partners are using our tools to raise awareness, to educate more and more. And it's a real great achievement to be there. But we are still short on one side of our project. We need to be more influent on the protection of nature and wildlife. Once again, storms in our brains, open and big discussions about the way we should evolve. What are we going to do in this crazy world? How can we have more influence on protection of wildlife? This is the big question. This is where we are now. One of the big stakes is to get people out of their daily businesses. And it became clear to us that we had to bring nature to them instead of hoping that they will come to nature. So we decided to use their usual fields. Malls, museums, zoos, were all places where a lot of people are going every day. So we decided to get there. Those are great places to get people and disconnect them from their citizen routine. Those are good places to teleport people into wildlife. So that's what we did. But yet, it's still short. We needed to do something more. Then came Metaverse and NFTs, a mega trend, a huge tailwind, a place where everyone wants to go, either curious or eager for richness. So came our last question. Why don't we get there and get the fuel needed to do our project about protection of wildlife? This is where we are now. We are exploring this way, exploring this universe, and see how we could create something that will both be generous toward nature and not impacting it anywhere. So, while growing on our original businesses, while using our 360 content, our immersive experiences, and digital apps to get people connected to nature, we are exploring and preparing a mega hit and a mega entry on the NFT world. And if you bear with me, it may be one other story interesting to hear.
Wow, fantastic. I'm really loving the virtual reality views, and I'm wondering how it will be like when presenting in a metaverse. Should be something, well, Immersion and Algorand Foundation can explore together. So thanks for sharing. Next, I'd like to introduce Adrian Dalliker, Head of Strategy and Development from Hoffman Institute, which aims to be the world's leading catalyst for innovation and transformative change to maintain biodiversity, the foundation of all life on Earth. Let's welcome Adrian.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the real world you are. My name is Adrian Dalliker. I'm a political scientist by training, but I've always been passionate about the environment. And I've been in the nature conservation sector for 13 years. I was head of policy and advocacy at WWF International, trying to influence international agreements on climate change, biodiversity, and sustainable development. I moved on to becoming head of program and then head of strategy and development at the Hoffman Institute, which acts at the frontier of social innovation as an incubator for the nonprofit environmental sector. I've recently set out to co-found my own venture, which aspires to make the impact NFT sector more transparent, effective, and accessible. I am completely dedicated to the environmental cause, and I'm not about to run out of work. In fact, we're facing serious challenges in nature conservation. We are heading for a world of plus 3 degrees Celsius, when we know that 1.5 degrees Celsius from climate change is the maximum we can tolerate without massive disruption. A world in which we've lost 70% of species in the past 60 years, and where 1 million more are at risk of becoming extinct in the next 10 years. A world which dramatically underinvests in nature, spending an estimated $800 billion less every year than what is needed to regenerate our planet. We must urgently reverse this if humans are to thrive on our own planet. This is not just a question of morals. This is a question of survival. But there is another side to the story, a more positive side. Research shows that people care. 1.1 billion people 16 years old and over have a stated interest in wildlife and nature. More importantly, the younger emerging generation care even more. Global surveys of new generations show consistent and growing concern for climate change, natural resource management, and biodiversity as the top priority above war and conflict and above inequality. New generations value impact more than the previous generations and are willing to give to charity more than their parents. But it comes with a twist. In return, the younger generation also seeks greater transparency and the direct, hands-on experience when giving or investing. So the situation is this. If you, like 1.1 billion other people, care about the planet and our role in it, what can you do? Where can you devote your energy? What can you support financially? The landscape is dominated by large international organizations, INGOs. The reality is you don't have much choice, especially when it comes to financing conservation or investing in a sustainable future. You can give to an INGO or face the tedious task of finding a local organization yourself that can convince you of its impact. INGOs are currently the primary actors for people to support conservation organizations. This reality is reflected in the numbers. Over half the budget of the top 15 INGOs, environmental INGOs, is made up of individual giving. Every year, people give over $1.7 billion to the top 15 environmental INGOs. In other words, People are entirely dependent on INGOs, and INGOs are entirely dependent on individuals. This is not a space that favors innovation. And indeed, the means by which INGOs engage their audiences has barely changed in the past several decades. We are still in what I call read-only conservation, where information flows only in one direction. When you give to charity, at best you're symbolically adopting an animal. You get a plush toy, a tote bag, maybe an occasional postcard or magazine, and soon a request for more funds. If conservation is to modernize itself, it needs to not only upgrade its communication, it needs to fundamentally shift from a read-only mentality to a read-write mentality. It needs to be more open to people's inputs and concerns. It needs to empower people with solutions. This is, in my opinion, a key pain point for conservation INGOs in the coming years. If they do not address this, they risk becoming obsolete. For individuals who care, and there are over 1 billion of us, the expectation is that our voice will be heard. We don't want plush toys or bags, calendars or postcards. We want new narratives. We want positive stories. We want empowerment. We want change. The risk is not so much that INGOs lose money for the cause. The risk is that this new generation that cares so much becomes disillusioned with the current solutions and turns its back entirely. And this is where blockchain comes in, and why I'm devoting all of my time to it now, after 13 years employed in the nature conservation sector. First, blockchain is a story of empowerment over disillusion, of self-sovereignty over centralized control, of community decisions over top-down leadership. This is important to spin the narrative around, to move from a tale of despair to one of hope. It is also a means to challenge large central actors to become more innovative. Second, blockchain is transparent. Distributed ledgers allow anyone to look into the accounts of impact projects or charities. It allows people to decide for themselves what impact they want to have and whether that impact is real. Thirdly, blockchain has created an entirely new means of attributing and exchanging value. This is massively exciting because this is something the conservation sector has struggled to do for decades. We are good at assigning monetary values to what we call ecosystem services, clean air, water, carbon sequestration, etc. But we have not really been able to capture this. Blockchain, and tokens in particular, offer an entirely new way to assign value by giving people the power to decide how much impact is worth. This is why recently I launched TLDR.Earth. Our vision is to create a one-stop shop for people to assess and invest in various blockchain impact projects that contribute to the conservation sector. We've been inspired and energized by the impact NFT sector. Tiger Chi on Algorand is one such story. NFT art going to save the majestic tigers and building entirely new communities around shared visions. Another of my favorites is called Belugi's. It was created by a 14-year-old artist and has raised over $400,000 for ocean conservation. There's also one called Fishy Fam, which has a community of 75,000 people on Discord and organizes beach cleanups in real life. These are not just inspirational stories. They are potentially rival business models to traditional conservation organizations. But many other projects are less transparent, and even with the best of intentions, the current standards for best practices don't exist. For example, the buyers of impact NFTs must still rely on a third party to deliver the charity. And mostly this is done via fiat currency bank transfers. Soon, it is easy to imagine NFT projects will need to have charity recipients coded into their smart contracts from the outset. This means also that charities themselves will need their own crypto wallets. This is still far from being the norm, with many charities still hesitant to dip their toes in this space. TLDR's mission is to accelerate this shift. We want to become an impact dashboard to create a massive, vibrant community of like-minded investors in nature and tell stories of impact. We aim to be multi-chain, which comes with its set of challenges, but we believe impact should be measured beyond individual blockchains. We want to track a project's financial impact, for example, how much is going to local charities and who is giving what. But we also want to track the energy of a project's community, its in-real-life activities, and other impact data so that people can make more informed decisions about their nature investments. We also think this needs to be fun, community-motivated, and positive to inspire collaboration. We want to give traditional NGOs a run for their money and generally energize the conservation sector with stories of empowerment. How cool would it be to have a dashboard of your impact, to socialize this impact, to compete and collaborate with others to magnify your impact, all while earning great-looking digital badges of your work, cool-looking NFTs, and building up your digital reputation in the digital age, in the age of blockchain. We want people to be empowered, to be active, to support and encourage others to support. We believe this is possible and that together we can reverse past trends and make the world a better place. If you believe in this vision, we want to hear from you. Well, I'm happy to engage. Thank you for having me today, and I look forward to discussions further later.
Cool, fantastic. Thank you, Adrian. So we have another special guest who has brought modern art into our green Metaverse. Let's welcome Laura Chen, the founder of Inner Plan. So Inner Plan was launched at the end of last year by IMS Group China, which is a leading digital transformation agency serving global Fortune 500 clients in Greater China region for more than 18 years. And Inner Plan is committed to transforming environment causes into fun activities and encourages maximum involvement and engagement of various campaigns they initiated. So they have been bringing mindset of environmental protection into the interest of the young lifestyle. Want to learn more about this project? Let's hear it from Lauren.
Hello everyone, happy Earth Day in the Green Metaverse. It is our pleasure to be here, leveraging the strong global community of Algorand and telling you our story starting from my home country, China, about how we convert the message of environmental protection to the young generations globally. Inner Plan was launched at the end of last year by Meiji Zhongguo, IMS Group China, which is the leading digital transformation agency serving global Fortune 500 clients in Greater China region. Inner Plan is committed to transforming environmental causes into fun activities, and we want to encourage maximum involvement and engagement of various campaigns we initiated, injecting the mindset of environmental protection into the interests of young lifestyle. This remains the core of our many research, promotion, and practices. Actually, young generations are all about the eco lifestyle. Inner Plan believes that environmental protection isn't something that is called upon, but rather organically integrated with their everyday life. That being eco-friendly isn't just a fad, but a daily norm. Which is why that environmental protection should go beyond a slogan and reform into actions and participations. So we prop into the young curiosity and call on all young artists, musicians, and designers to join us to make an impact and spark more youthful creations and inspirations. While keeping up with the young generation, Inner Plan is also keen on promoting fashionable, entertaining, and scientific side of environmental causes, combined with their interest in life, to naturally drive the willingness and more effective communications at the same time. We know that the young generation right now love music and all things related. So we thought, why don't we create a song for environmental protection and fill the topic with endless imagination? And so we did. Towards the end of last year, we invited China's techno pioneer Ma Haiping composed our very first single, The Indifferent Drift, shining a light on marine ecology. Upon releasing, the experiential music sparked so much passionate conversations on the topic between us and our young audiences. It was an absolute delight that we decided instantly to create more environmental songs of different styles with talented music creators. To young generations, fashion is not only their tangible form of creativity, but also the most direct source of inspirations and self-confidence. We see that many renowned designers promoting the concept of eco-friendly fashion. I myself have participated in the content construction of Shanghai Fashion Week, which is partly also taking place today on xSpaces as a Metaverse experience, and also a key contributor for the Sustainable Development Forum of the event. We worked with the top fashion designers in the field and organization committee by turning environmental protection into fashion statement. We narrowed the gap between young generation and eco-awareness, and together with the use of fashion items to bring forth the creativity and style of the positive cause. The sweaters and the t-shirt that you see here are designed by our own team, telling a story of deformed dolphin after being shackled by plastic waste. We deconstructed the animal with artistic expression. You can see the details here. We then adapted the design onto our clothing pieces, which lots of young fans took to the streets. We posted them on our WeChat. Tons of orders were made. These ideas worked out well then. We could really make a profit, but that's not what we're after. We just fuels us in the continuous effort of promoting the fashionable side of environmental protection. These eco-friendly items are designed by Chen Chen, yet another super talented Chinese designer known internationally. She's also the beautiful mind behind this year's Winter Olympic flag bearer costumes for the opening ceremony. We worked with Chen Chen as she shares her vision on fashionable environmental cause, but also as one of the top fashion powerhouses. She holds a magical spot over China's trend riding youngsters. There's this old saying that goes like, love me, love my dog. The youth followed the trend set by her ad. They followed her fashion, and we, of course, then follow her environmental actions. An interesting find out may be amplified by COVID-19. We observed that right now some young people are becoming homebodies. In China, we call them socializing, which means social via electronic devices at home, such as games, Metaverse community, and high-tech forum. At the beginning of our Metaverse marketing, our team adapted virtual and technological techniques to promote meta-cosmic environmental protection. And us and an agency become a professional Metaverse marketing company in the industry. In January, we launched an all-virtual scene production video created by our team. The video shows 4 humans walking on the surface of a bottle, and out of the blue, the bottle rolls and disappears. This bottle symbolizes the earth. Some actions we carelessly take on a daily basis that seems insignificant may eventually lead to the end of the earth, even the end of the mankind. Since launch, the video was covered by a series of major domestic media. As you can see, young people are highly interested in anything blockchain plus metaverse and decentralized IT with avatars, so we must also incorporate new ideas and technologies in promoting environmental protection. I'm proud to say Meiji Zhongguo Arms Group China is at the cutting edge of keep up with the trend. As our team has served the world Fortune 500 clients for more than 18 years, we also have our own unique perspective on the cause of environmental protection and public welfare. We specialized in studying the user market. We collect a series of topics about self-beings and the society with emotional resonances, and at the same time, we also support young people to live, socialize, decompress, and care about environmental causes with their own real attitudes and flair. Apart from what we discussed, our young generations also care about urban and in-home environment, photography, sports, art exhibition, and so on, which is why that in the plan we will tirelessly explore various fields, creating a buzz across industries. And at the same time, attracts more architects, artists, photographers, and many more content creators to speak and share. This video of plastic bags you see now was made from a series of still frames captured by China contemporary photographer Fan Xi for us. We had just released this work in March. Through this piece, we wanted to express that the plastic bag itself isn't an original thing. It's just misplaced. We should always have the options to choose how we deal with our relations, us to things, and us to the world. After all, only in good ecological environment can we incubate and fulfill the beautifully diversified interest of young people. In the plan, we always remember the reason why we started, that the cause of environmental protection and the public welfare boil with endless creativity and joy. If someone told me one day, Laura, your project is great fun, we want to be part of it, that is all that I'm after, and I know what we have done are worthwhile. Thank you.
Sorry, just coming off mute. That was fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Laura. I believe we can explore the potential cooperation in China. Incidentally, on that, there's actually a project with the co-founder who is from China, who we've already worked with, and that's xSpaces, who've actually built the metaverse we see today. So let's introduce Kai Liang, co-founder of xSpaces, to share his insights into the metaverse and blockchain. Just want to welcome Kai now momentarily.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, and I hope an insightful midnight snack in case you are awake wherever you are. My name is Kai Liang, and I'm honored to join this occasion to share some thoughts with you on the Earth Day 2022. Let me begin with the courtesy of a few words about myself. I'm a father, husband, entrepreneur, and a citizen, a traveling British born in Beijing, China, who just returned home in London from my very first international trip since the outbreak of pandemic. I usually spend consistently more than 70% of my time away from home since my very first startup, that is Coordinate Technologies, back in 2007, 15 years ago. So it has been very interesting, not able to travel for more than 2 years continuously. I'm sure many of us have already found ways to adapt to this huge change in our life and work, and I'm sure most of us would agree that the world would never quite return to the norm before. Traveling is a good thing. It's given me lots of knowledge about the world, businesses, and myself, as well as time for me to enjoy music and reading. And often Facebook, now called Meta, would torture me with these fantastic pictures of my past business trips during the pandemic lockdown. I am today the co-founder of xSpaces, which actually started its journey by providing metaverse education content and solutions to hundreds of schools in Australia. And now we are expanding our metaverse service to businesses and individuals who wish to be a part of this meta trend and generate value. Three things elevated me, especially from the worst moment of UK lockdown, which I would like to share with everyone here. And I promise it will make us all feel a little bit better to realize the last 2+ years have actually been somewhat valuable. First, I must thank Clubhouse, a social media metaverse founded by Paul and Rohan. This sensational platform is, in my humble opinion, a place of lifelong learning with inclusive and democratic minds who understand and respect the power of waiting and listening. On the previous Earth Day, 22nd April 2021, I actually co-founded the very first global education conference with more than 200 Clubhouse rooms in 7 different languages, with participants from more than 20 counted nationalities talking about what we can do to improve education. I hope some of the speakers are here with us today. One of the keynote speakers we had for the US Open Room was in fact the Clubhouse founder Paul Davidson himself, whom I would always respect as one of the most influential, creative, and inspiring metaverse founders ever. I can safely say that Clubhouse started a new era for audio metaverse, and millions of people have learned a lot together during all the sharing rooms, and still so every minute. Second, I would like to thank my colleagues, co-founders of xSpaces, which is a metaverse communication platform that served hundreds of schools and 1,000 times more people to remove the barrier of time and space so that we can meet in a manner similar to what is now called Meta. But of course, our development started 3 years before Mark Zuckerberg rebranded Facebook, which I like to show my respect, marked a turning point to the age of metaverse. For that matter, I also want to thank our investors and would-be investors for your support on the creation and enhancement of such platform, which we all are enjoying today, and for enabling us to serve more creators, educators, and lifelong learners in the future. Thirdly, I want to thank my families, especially my son. I used to only spend often no more than 2 or 3 weeks with my son before another international trip across big time differences, which resulted a London-based Brit co-founded xSpaces in Sydney, among other disruptive exploits, since his birth in 2009. But this time, we are still together after 32 months, continuously. I think I can resonate with all the fathers here on this Earth Day of the incredible fortune and gift of being together with our family. Family is interesting. It's a concept that often extends. We often see our colleagues and co-founders as a part of extended families or other fellow entrepreneurs who share similar values and beliefs. For families, communication are so vitally important, as well as the legacy of communications. These were exactly key principles for us to build to serve on xSpaces. So you may have noticed that there are many listeners of the speeches today from all walks of life in many different countries. It is a truly 3D world, but Metaverse can give us a lot more than that, and some platform already did. But we are all working to do better at this. Let me share a few thoughts with you all about education in the age of Metaverse. First of all, education is going 4D, not just 3D. Yes, you can work among the recordings of this sixth-of spatial experience in the past on xSpaces, watching how you said things, performed things, and interacted with others in a spatial manner, and take a selfie and share with the past you and your friends. Do be mindful of your share too, because the future you can also interact with the past you and the present you with a bit of artificial intelligence. That is something we are building. Many would argue that smell, taste, and feeling, touch, for example, should also be made possible on platforms like xSpaces to support education further. This is something I strongly agree and would continue to work with all the innovators to improve upon for our platform and together for other similar metaverse platforms together. Secondly, it is now possible for us to mint NFTs on our creative jointly with others and benefit from every transaction in the future without being controlled by a historical authority whose decision most of us creators might disagree, sometimes violently and most times unpleasantly. This decentralized exchange would surely give probably 1,000,000 times more creatives and enlarge our combined economy or value creation by an astronomical magnitude. And who knows, might just help some of us to collaborate with aliens or our earthly animals, plants, and maybe fungi. Thirdly, if the future creator economy is increasingly based on a metaverse world with Web 3.0 and a decentralized finance system, one might ask, how should the education system, which is all about creating valuable citizens for our combined future, change and adapt and serve the future? Education is a rather vast word for the fact that it covers all aspects of subjects across subjects and all historical aspects, as well as many different cultures, both known and unknown. Perhaps I should focus on science education since I'm a deep practitioner here. Here I would mention a friend of mine, Rob Hoban. He's Dutch, by the way, who co-founded Algorand schools in the Netherlands. Algorand school is a school with no exams, no classroom, no teachers, and no syllabus, which we should all agree hasn't been able to catch up with the change of times in all the countries represented here today. Algorand schools has mentors, and students work out projects with their mentors. They serve 12 to 18 years old, and is fully recognized by Dutch government, and now expanding to 10 schools already, with another 2 in Belgium. Perhaps it is time for us to not only rethink our education system, but the exam and certification system also, which none of us like, nor remember, under the context of the challenges we all face, to cultivate more minds like Elon Musk, and to have the opportunity to create more solutions to reverse challenges like global warming, plastic pollution, finding better ways to energize our economy, and turn investment on weapons to investment on arts and culture. And another person I like to thank here is actually my other friend, Vasily Filippov, doctor, who was listed as one of the top 100 European tech entrepreneurs. One of the key ideas of Vasily is that science education, and of course, more so for art and many other subjects, it is important to offer well-designed hands-on experiment to truly engage children and parents in the observation and feel of science. When you get these golden moments of engagement, You serve the best possible metaverse education content, which children can dive into atoms or subatomic particles and move out to the galaxy and learn things interactively with both slowed down time to observe events happening within nanoseconds or accelerated events happening across millions of years. Even more exciting, when you learned the basic, how about creating and design conditions to simulate and analyze chemical reactions within Metaverse, together with other teachers or students alike from all walks of life, present or the past, and possibly publish your result or NFT, minting your amazing visual effect, which you can display in your Metaverse living room of each of us, might deserve which is something that each of us might deserve a few or more for different subjects areas on xSpaces or other great Metaverse platforms. Your learning journey and creative journey on Metaverse can be artificially summarized and form the basis of your exam or certifications, hopefully soon, or even better, can be participated by professors in charge of admissions to the best universities, whose teaching would no longer be constrained by the size and location of the classroom, but to everyone who has access to Metaverse, audio or visual, or interactively, or in a bubble bus. The Metaverse is surely making all of us more creative, like a child, relearning the forms and rules that is changing fast, upgrading fast, and feel the thrill and happiness of a baby once again, hopefully more often. For most of audiences and participants here today, our education history has been a collection of qualifications and certifications decided by centralized authorities. So how up-to-date and adaptive do we think these authorities are changing with respect of our combined global norm today? Perhaps it is time for all of us to wonder if we might be able to form a few DAOs to work out a interplanetary qualification and certification system, which recognize a lot more learning, creation, sharing, and supporting, which cultivate more value for a better tomorrow, which doesn't discriminate against our middle-aged men and women, like some of us here today, as well as our parents who also love to learn and share every day. And more importantly, for all these efforts to be supported by decentralized investment, individual and bodies who will be united by the same and shared beliefs and sustainable values rather than the traditional divide between investors and entrepreneurs. As a conclusion, on this Earth Day, I really want to thank Algorand Foundation for the opportunity for me to share a few thoughts with all of you for our past search and efforts, and with the future ourselves and children of ours to look back today with a warm hug in an environmentally friendly blockchain. More importantly, us concluded in a conversation with an art lecture friend of mine who regularly gave lessons on art in universities and the National Galleries in London slightly earlier today, who also consults for Susby's Institute of Art. And the learning and sharing of art is like a journey of art creativity, which we can all start straight away on xSpaces, for example, or else. This might just create a bit more sense of respect and understanding this planet needs to weather through the big challenges and help us survive together with each other and nature better and sustainably. Thank you and well done. Thank you and well done.
Thank you, and thanks for building this beautiful Earth Day Metaverse for Algorand. We look forward to more in-depth cooperation ahead. So next, and our last guest speaker, let's welcome Selvan Philippi, Managing Director and CTO from Envision Racing. Have you all seen the awesome 3D racing car in our Metaverse? That's from Envision Racing. Well, I cannot wait but to listen to the speech from Selvan. Let's get on the road.
Hi everyone, my name is Sylvain Philippi. I am the Managing Director and CTO of Envision Racing. We are a team that competes in the FIA Formula E Championship, an electric racing series dedicated to the promotion of electric mobility and alternative energy solutions, with the aim of reducing air pollution and fighting climate change around the world. The Envision Racing team was born out of one purpose: to inspire generations to tackle climate change and transition to e-mobility and renewable energy, and use our platform as a racing team to accelerate this transition through our Race Against Climate Change platform. In short, we exist to try to save our planet. Climate breakdown is having an increasingly alarming effect globally, impacting the people and wildlife who call it home. If we are to safeguard our future, we all need to take action, and with time running out, we race to bring about positive change. This positive change is possible, firstly, thanks to our owner, the Envision Group. We benefit from their expertise as the net zero tech partner for enterprises, governments, and cities across the world, and we are a great example of their capabilities in net zero solutions as the first carbon neutral Formula E team. But this change also wouldn't be possible without our team partners. As our platinum partner, the Algorand Foundation are a vital part of our efforts to bring about change and set an example to other brands. We have a shared ethos that the future can be green. The Algorand protocol and ecosystem prove that everyone can harness the potential of an equitable, truly borderless digital economy without having an impact on the planet. They have proven that blockchain can be built on a carbon negative network that will help sustain the world we live in. Together, Envision Racing and the Algorand Foundation have a number of really exciting plans for the next few months, and will be working collaboratively to share our message far and wide, to create a world where sustainability drives innovation today, tomorrow, and in the future. To begin with, I'm delighted to be a part of this event for Earth Day in the Metaverse. As you're exploring this fantastic space, you'll see our car featured for the first time publicly as a 3D model in a digital environment. It's great to be able to share the story of our partnership with you all here in the Metaverse. We also have our Race Against Climate Change program. The Algorand Foundation are an official partner of Race Against Climate Change, which is an initiative that sees us host a range of events throughout the season aimed at addressing the wider issues surrounding climate change. Race Against Climate Change creates a platform for our partners, brands, and individuals to demonstrate what they are doing to address the issue and inspire others to do the same. We also have Algorand Foundation community events. Throughout this Formula E season, we will be taking our sustainability message on the road together, collaborating on 4 community events in London, Berlin, New York, and Vancouver. We'll be inviting people to join us in these cities before we go racing, providing a platform for speakers to address the Algorand community directly. At the Romy Prix, 2 weeks ago, we launched our On-Track NFT series. 8 limited edition NFT helmets have been created to bring global awareness for a healthier planet. Each design represents one of 8 different locations around the globe that are hosting a race on the Formula E calendar. All proceeds from the sale of these fantastic helmets will go towards planting mangrove trees in Madagascar as part of Race Against Climate Change. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We'll be working together to share our message throughout the season on as many platforms as possible, taking every opportunity that we can to pave the way for a greener future. That's why I'm delighted to be joining you here and hope to meet as many of you as possible at our community events too, when we bring the Race Against Climate Change to a city near you. I also hope as many of you as possible get your hands on these limited edition NFTs. Together, we can be the positive change. Thank you.
Oh, that was great. And agreed fully, like together we can make a positive change. I think that's obviously the essence of today in this event. Big thank you to Sylvain and all our guest speakers today. Just a quick one, and Sylvain sort of noted it there at the end of his video on the NFT series. So it's a series and a collection of NFTs that we've worked with artists to mint, and it's all in support of planting trees in the Madagascar. All proceeds from the sales. Each NFT is 25 algo, and as Sylvain referenced, the initial race in Rome, there was a Rome Triumph helmet. There's subsequent races at the end of this month in Monaco, and then in through May in Berlin, Jakarta, in June in Vancouver. July has New York, London, and then ends in August with Seoul. So each of those races in each of those cities will have a unique design, an NFT minted. We work with our Blocksport One marketplace. It's an NFT marketplace and partner to do all the minting, etc. And how it works is like literally 4 or 5 days out from each race, we will mint a mystery box NFT. So you're sort of buying a mystery box, and then within each 1,000 NFTs, one of them will be a gold helmet. Whoever claims or wins that gold helmet will actually get a physical helmet, one-to-one physical helmet of the actual NFT design. So a proper race helmet, which is quite cool. And then 9 of the NFTs are actually silver helmets. And if you are lucky enough to get a silver helmet, you actually get a digital framed version of the NFT that plays the video. And then for the people that collect, be it a gold, silver, or bronze NFT throughout the 8 races, if you collect one from each race of any denomination, you're in with an opportunity to win grand prizes. We're looking at possibly a big day out for the Monaco Grand Prix, or formerly Grand Prix next year. So you'll have a full experience at a racetrack in Monaco and attend the race, etc. As I said, all proceeds go to the Race Against Climate Trade and to plant trees. So a bit like the Algoana project, it's very, very worthwhile and supports obviously our sustainability and our partnership together. So we have further updates related to the NFT campaign that we'll be sharing on social later today and tomorrow. So keep an eye on our social channels for those updates as well. Last thing, sorry, from my side, Summer, is, and I've seen some buzz in the chat, is around the actual NFT that can be claimed as part of joining this Earth Day Metaverse. So we have an automated email that will go out straight after the event to all attendees that will share the asset ID and the fact that you actually have to opt in to receive the asset. As Summer has mentioned in the chat, the drop will be done within 2 weeks, but you won't receive the NFT if you don't opt into that asset. So you need an Algorand compatible sort of ASA wallet to opt into that asset to ensure that you can actually receive it when the drop is done. One thing is the wallet address was listed on the registration form for the event today as well. So if you did not submit your wallet address or did not have a wallet address at that time, there's instructions both on the reg page now and on the follow-up email that will go out on how to create the wallet. So please sign up, and then if you have, when you have your wallet address, if you haven't submitted it previously or at reg, just send us through an email to contact@algorand.foundation. Please just reference the same email address you used to sign up so we can reconcile that you did attend. And then from there, we can respond on a one-by-one basis to people that have issues or questions or want to share the wallet address they set up after the registration process when they signed up for this event. I think that's it, Summer, from my side, unless I've missed anything glaring that you want to add.
You've covered all. So yeah, I just want to give a quick wrap of this session. So a big thank you to all our guest speakers today. And as Sylvain said in his speech, and I quote here, so together we can build a positive change. We are honored to have you all here, every audience here, just from our community. And yeah, together, let's build a greener future. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for participating in this kick-off session. And don't forget, the Metaverse space will be open 24/7 for 4 weeks. So drop by and mingle. See you all in the Metaverse.
And a big thank you to Summer for all the work, both on the event and the speakers, and more importantly, the Metaverse itself, Summer. It looks fantastic and well done.
Thank you, Ronan.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.